The holy war against Midian. The Lord said to Moses, "Punish the Midianites for what they did to the people of Israel. After you have done that, you will die." So Moses said to the people, "Get ready for war, so that you can attack Midian and punish them for what they did to the Lord. From each tribe of Israel, send 1,000 men to war." So 1,000 men were chosen from each tribe, a total of 12,000 men ready for battle. Moses sent them to war under the command of Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, who took charge of the sacred objects and the trumpets for giving signals. They attacked Midian as the Lord had commanded Moses and killed all the men, including the 5 kings of Midian, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor. The people of Israel captured the Midianite women and children and took their cattle and their flocks, plundered all their wealth, and burnt all their cities and camps. They took all the loot that they had captured, including the prisoners and the animals, and brought them to Moses and Eleazar and to the community of the people of Israel, who were at camp on the plains of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. The army returns. Moses, Eleazar, and all the other leaders of the community went out of the camp to meet the army. Moses was angry with the officers, the commanders of the battalions and companies who had returned from war. He asked them, "Why have you kept all the women alive? Remember that it was the women who followed Balaam's instructions and at Peor led the people to be unfaithful to the Lord. That was what brought the epidemic on the Lord's people. So now kill every boy and kill every woman who has had sexual intercourse, but keep alive for yourselves all the girls and all the women who are virgins. Now all of you who have killed anyone or have touched a corpse must stay outside the camp for 7 days. On the 3rd day and on the 7th day, purify yourselves and the women you have captured. You must also purify every piece of clothing and everything made of leather, goat's hair, or wood." Eleazar the priest said to the men who had returned from battle, "These are the regulations that the Lord has given to Moses. Everything that will not burn, such as gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, or lead, is to be purified by passing it through fire. Everything else is to be purified by water for purification. On the 7th day, you must wash your clothes. Then you will be ritually clean and will be permitted to enter the camp." Division of loot. The Lord said to Moses, "You and Eleazar, together with the other leaders of the community, are to count everything that has been captured, including the prisoners and the animals. Divide what was taken into 2 equal parts, one part for the soldiers and the other part for the rest of the community. From the part that belongs to the soldiers, withhold as a tax for the Lord 1 out of every 500 prisoners, and the same proportion of the cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats. Give them to Eleazar the priest as a special contribution to the Lord. From the part given to the rest of the people, take 1 out of every 50 prisoners, and the same proportion of the cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats. Give them to the Levites who are in charge of the Lord's tent. Moses and Eleazar did what the Lord commanded. The following is the list of what was captured by the soldiers, in addition to what they kept for themselves: 675,000 sheep and goats, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 virgins. The half share of the soldiers was 337,500 sheep and goats, of which 675 were the tax for the Lord. 36,000 cattle for the soldiers, of which 72 were the tax for the Lord. 30,500 donkeys for the soldiers, of which 61 were the tax for the Lord. And 16,000 virgins for the soldiers, of which 32 were the tax for the Lord. So Moses gave Eleazar the tax as a special contribution to the Lord, as the Lord had commanded. The share of the community was the same as that for the soldiers: 337,500 sheep and goats, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 virgins. From this share, Moses took one out of every 50 prisoners and animals, and as the Lord had commanded, gave them to the Levites who were in charge of the Lord's tent. Then the officers who had commanded the army went to Moses and reported, "Sir, we have counted the soldiers under our command, and not one of them is missing. So we are bringing the gold ornaments, armlets, bracelets, rings, earrings, and necklaces that each of us has taken. We offer them to the Lord as a payment for our lives, so that He will protect us." Moses and Eleazar received the gold, all of which was in the form of ornaments. The total contribution of the officers weighed nearly 200 kilograms. Those who were not officers kept the loot they had taken. So Moses and Eleazar took the gold to the tent, so that the Lord would protect the people of Israel. The tribes east of Jordan, the tribes of Reuben and Gad, had a lot of livestock. When they saw how suitable the land of Jazer and Gilead was for cattle, they went to Moses, Eleazar, and the other leaders of the community and said, "This region which the Lord has helped the Israelites to occupy, the towns of Ataroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Sibmah, Nebo, and beyond, is good land for livestock, and we have so much livestock. Please give us this land as our property, and do not make us cross the river Jordan and settle there." Moses replied, "Do you want to stay here while your fellow Israelites go to war? How dare you try to discourage the people of Israel from crossing the Jordan into the land which the Lord has given them? That is what your fathers did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. They went as far as the valley of Eshcol and saw the land. But when they returned, they discouraged the people from entering the land which the Lord had given them. The Lord was angry that day and made a promise. I swear that because they did not remain loyal to me, none of the men 20 years old or older who came out of Egypt will enter the land that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This included everyone except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, son of Nun. They remained loyal to the Lord. The Lord was angry with the people and made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years, until the whole generation that had displeased him was dead. And now you have taken your father's place, a new generation of sinful men, ready to bring down the fierce anger of the Lord and on Israel again. If you people of Reuben and Gad refuse to follow him now, he will once again abandon all these people in the wilderness, and you will be responsible for their destruction. They approached Moses and said, "First, allow us to build stone enclosures here for our sheep and fortified towns for our dependents. Then we will be ready to go with our fellow Israelites into battle and lead the attack until we have settled them in the land that will be theirs. In the meantime, our dependents can live here in the fortified towns, safe from the people of this land. We will not return to our homes until all the other Israelites have taken possession of the land assigned to them. We will not take possession of any property among them on the other side of the Jordan, because we have received our share here east of the Jordan." Moses answered, "If you really mean what you say, then here in the presence of the Lord, get ready to go into battle. All your fighting men are to cross the Jordan, and under the command of the Lord, they are to attack our enemies until the Lord defeats them and takes possession of the land. After that, you may return, because you have fulfilled your obligation to the Lord and to your fellow Israelites. Then the Lord will acknowledge that this land east of the Jordan is yours. But if you do not keep your promise, I warn you that you will be sinning against the Lord. Make no mistake about it, you will be punished for your sin. So build your towns and the enclosures for your sheep, but do what you have promised." The men of Gad and Reuben said, "Sir, we will do as you command. Our wives and children and our cattle and sheep will remain here in the town of Gilead. But all of us are ready to go into battle under the Lord's command. We will cross the Jordan and fight, just as you had said." So Moses gave these commands to Eleazar, Joshua, and the other leaders of Israel. If the men of Gad and Reuben cross the Jordan ready for battle at the Lord's command, and if with their help you are able to conquer the land, then give them the land of Gilead as their property. But if they do not cross the Jordan and go into battle with you, they are to receive their share of the property in the land of Canaan, as you do." The men of Gad and Reuben answered, "Sir, we will do as the Lord has commanded. Under his command, we will cross into the land of Canaan and go into battle, so that we can retain our property here east of the Jordan." So Moses assigned to the tribes of Gad and Reuben, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, all the territory of King Sihon of the Amorites and king of Og of Bashan, including the towns and the country round them. The tribe of Gad rebuilt the fortified towns of Dibon, Ataroth, Aroer, Athroth, Shophan, Jazer, Jogbehah, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran. The tribe of Reuben rebuilt Heshbon, Elealeh, Kiriathaim, Nebo, Baal Meon. This name was changed, and Zibmah. They gave new names to the towns they rebuilt. The clan of Mashir, son of Manasseh, invaded the land of Gilead, occupied it, and drove out the Amorites who were there. So Moses gave Gilead to the clan of Mashir, and they lived there. Jair of the tribe of Manasseh attacked and captured some villages and named them villages of Jair. Nobah attacked the captured Kenath and its villages, and he renamed it Nobah after himself. The journey from Egypt to Moab. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their goings out. And they departed from Ramesses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month. On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with a high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. For the Egyptians buried all their firstborn, which the Lord had smitten among them, upon their gods. Also the Lord executed judgments. And the children of Israel removed from the Ramses and pitched in Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and pitched in Etham, which is in the edge of the wilderness. And they removed from Etham and turned again unto Pihahiroth, which is before Baal-zephon. And they pitched before Migdol. And they departed from before Pihahiroth and passed through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, and went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and pitched in Marah. And they removed from Marah and came into Elim. And in Elim were 12 fountains of water, and 70 palm trees, and they pitched there. And they removed from Elim and encamped by the Red Sea. And they removed from the Red Sea and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. And they took their journey out of the wilderness of Sin and encamped in Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and encamped in Alash. And they removed from Alash and encamped in Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. And they removed from the desert of Sinai and pitched at Kibroth Hattaavah. And they departed from Kibroth Hattaavah and encamped at Hazeroth. And they departed from Hazeroth and pitched in Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and pitched at Rimmon Perez. And they departed from Rimmon Perez and pitched in Libnah. And they removed from Libnah and pitched at Risha. And they journeyed from Risha and pitched in Kihel-Ethah. And they went from Kihel-Ethah and pitched in Mount Shafir. And they removed from Mount Shafir and encamped in Haradah. And they removed from Harada and pitched in Makheloth. And they removed from Makheloth and encamped at Tahath. And they departed from Tahath and pitched at Thara. And they removed from Thara and pitched in Mithcha. And they went from Mithcha and pitched in Hashmonah. And they departed from Hashmonah and encamped at Moseroth. And they departed from Moseroth and pitched in Beni-Jaakan. And they removed from Beni-Jaakan and encamped at Hor-Ha-Gidad. And they went from Hor-Ha-Gidgad and pitched in Jotbatha. And they removed from Jotbatha and encamped at Ebronah. And they departed from Ebronah and encamped at Ezion-Gaber. And they removed from Ezion-Gaber and pitched in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they removed from Kadesh and pitched in Mount Hor, in the edge of the land at Edom. And Aaron the priest went up into Mount Hor at the commandment of the Lord and died there in the 40th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the first day of the 5th month. And Aaron was 123 years old when he died in Mount Hor. And the king Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. And they departed from Mount Hor and pitched in Zalmonah. And they departed from Zalmonah and pitched in Punon. And they departed from Punon and pitched in Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and pitched in Iji-Abarim, in the border of Moab. And they departed from Aim and pitched in Dibon-Gad. And they removed from Dibon-Gad and encamped in Almon-Diblathaim. And they removed from Almon-Diblathaim and pitched in the mountains of Abarim before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abarim and pitched in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. And they pitched by Jordan from Beth Jesimoth even unto Abel Shittim in the plains of Moab. And the Lord spoke unto Moses in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When we are passed over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then we shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places. And we shall dispose the inhabitants of the land, and dwell therein. For I have given you the land to possess it. And we shall divide the land by lot of an inheritance among your families, and to the more we shall give the more inheritance, and to the fewer we shall give the less inheritance. Every man's inheritance shall be in the place where his lot falleth, according to the tribes of your fathers, we shall inherit. But if we will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those who we let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein we dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them,